All right, let's dive into a tool that you hear about all the time in the tech world, but it can feel a little mysterious if you're not a developer. GitHub. What is it, and why is it so important? Well, we're about to break it all down.
I mean, seriously, just think about it for a second. If you've ever worked on a group project, you've probably seen file names like Final Draft, then Final Draft V2, and my personal favorite, Final Version for Real, use this one. Now, imagine that chaos, but with thousands of lines of code and a whole team of people trying to make changes at once. How on earth do they keep it all straight?
And that right there, that's the fundamental challenge developers have faced for decades. Managing a project as it gets bigger and more complex, especially when you have a team, can get out of control really, really fast. It's a problem that just screams for a solution, right? You just know there has to be a smarter, safer, and just better way to build software together. And of course there is. This is exactly where GitHub steps into the spotlight. It is the platform designed from the ground up to solve these very problems, and it's become the absolute go-to for developers all over the world. So what is it at its core? Well, you can think of it as an online home for code. It's a place where developers don't just dump their project files, but they manage them using this incredibly brilliant system called version control. And that brings us to GitHub's first and maybe its biggest superpower, version control. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a time machine for your code. No, seriously, it's an unbelievably powerful idea. So let's see how it works. And the key phrase here is every single change. We're not just talking about saving the file every now and then. Version control is like a super detailed logbook that records every addition, every deletion, every tiny little tweak, creating a perfect history of your project from day one. Okay, so check this out, because this is a total game changer. Let's say on Monday you write your first bit of code. Awesome. On Tuesday you add a cool new feature, everything's working great. But Wednesday comes along, you make what you think is a small change, and suddenly the whole thing breaks. It's a disaster. But with version control, you don't panic. You just say, hey, take me back to how things were on Tuesday, and poof, instantly you're back to the last working version. It is the ultimate safety net.
So, we've got this incredible time machine for our code, but where does the project itself actually live on GitHub? Well, that brings us to its digital home, which is called a repository.
It's called a repository, but honestly, pretty much everyone in the dev world just calls it a repo for short. Think of it as the main folder for your project on GitHub. It's the central hub that holds everything related to that one specific piece of software. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Inside a repo, you've got all your code files, of course, but you also have your documentation, the instruction manuals. And most importantly, that complete version history, that time machine log we were just talking about. It's the whole shebang, all bundled up in one neat digital package. But look, tracking your own changes is only half the battle. The real magic of GitHub, what makes it so indispensable, is how it helps you work with other people. This is all about powering collaboration on a global scale. Now that sounds like a simple little sentence, but it is the reason GitHub is an absolute giant in the industry. It takes this incredibly difficult task of having multiple people edit the same code and makes it manageable, streamlined, and just not a nightmare. So here's the deal. Developers can work on the exact same project at the same time without stepping on each other's toes. Someone in New York can be building a new feature while their teammate in Tokyo is fixing a bug. GitHub gives them the tools to safely merge all those different changes together into one working project. It's kind of amazing. So, just how many people are actually working this way? Is this a big deal? Well, the scale of this whole ecosystem is pretty staggering. We're talking about millions. Yep, this isn't some little niche tool. It is a massive, thriving global community. Millions of developers rely on GitHub every single day to build the apps on your phone, the websites you visit, basically the software that runs our modern world. And I think this quote just nails the feeling of it all. It calls GitHub a home for all developers. It's a place where you're not just building with your immediate team, but you can build alongside friends, coworkers, and even complete strangers working on open source projects. It really is more than a tool, it's a community hub. So, there you have it. It's a time machine, a digital project home, and a global collaboration platform, all rolled into one. It is, without a doubt, a cornerstone of modern software development. And that really just leaves one last question for you. Now that you know the tool, what will you build?